Hello students, let's start with the next unit, that is on working capital management. So what is working capital? It is nothing but the capital required for day-to-day activities, or it is short-term or current short-term capital, or it is also known as current assets such as cash, marketable securities, debtors and inventories. When we need money for all these sources, we call it as working capital. Working capital is money required to meet your daily expenses. It is also known as revolving capital or circulating capital or short-term capital. Why we call it as revolving or circulating capital? Because it keeps on rotating in the business. Once invested, suppose you've invested 1 lakh, you buy raw material, produce, sell it, again recover your money, again the same 1 lakh can be put into the business. So that is revolving or rotating capital. Now, what is working capital management? Managing or making decisions on from where and how you will get this short-term finance and planning for your short-term financial needs is called as working capital management. It deals with current assets and current liabilities. The basic objective of working capital is to ensure adequate availability of cash flows to meet the requirements of current operational obligation. As of now, daily, whatever are the obligations, the payments that I have to do, if I am able to meet that, I'm doing working capital management. And also to meet any current liability payment if they are due. So if anything like the creditors or bills payables are due, I have to make payments promptly. So to do this, I need money, I need circulating cash, which we call it as working capital. And if we are able to make payments as well as do our operational activities smoothly, that means we are managing our working capital in a proper manner. So net working capital is nothing but current assets minus current liabilities, whereas gross working capital is the total of current assets. Now, what are the factors that affect working capital requirement? There are certain factors that we have to keep in mind before deciding how much working capital I will require. The very first one is size of the firm. Now, size of the firm basically means if it is a large firm, you will require huge amount of working capital. And if it's a small firm, you will require lesser amount of working capital, because in the large firm, your production would be at high volume, you will sell at high volume, and you will recover your money. So you will have to invest more in inventories, you will have to invest more on debtors, you will have to invest more in the business. So it basically needs more working capital. The next is the nature of business. In case of nature of business, we have to check whether we are into a manufacturing concern or a service sector. If it is a service sector, we would usually require lesser working capital, because there we sell everything predominantly on cash basis. If you go to a doctor and take his services, you immediately pay cash. It doesn't happen on credit usually. If you are taking electricity, consuming electricity, the electricity board will give you bill every month and you immediately have to pay the cash. So services are usually on cash basis. There are a few services which go on credit also, but more so it is on cash basis. So you require less amount of working capital because you don't have debtors. You need not wait for your money to come back. You immediately get your money. Whereas in case of manufacturing concern, usually manufacturing concern, sales happen on credit. So when you produce and manufacture and go to sell certain goods, you basically sell it on credit to meet up the competition, because your competitor also may be selling it on credit. So here you will require substantially high working capital. Reason being, you're not receiving your money immediately. You're investing, producing, selling, and money will be received later. So till the money comes, you basically need to invest more. So there is more requirement of working capital. The next is the business cycle. Now, business cycle basically has 4 phases. That is, you first have to just start the cycle. That is, we also call it as beginning stage or starting stage. Then you go to growth stage, and then you go to peak stage, and then it is decline or depression. So when you are in the growth stage, you will require more and more amount of working capital, because when you are at the growth or peak stage, you are meeting your full demand, you are working up to your fullest capacity and trying to produce more and more, which will require more amount of working capital. But if you are on the contrary during the period of depression or during decline stage, there's no demand for your products, and if there's no demand, the production would come down, and when the production comes down, you would require lesser amount of working capital, lesser amount of inventories. You won't produce more and keep it as a stock because people are not buying. The next is production cycle. Now, what is production cycle? Production cycle basically means how are you actually manufacturing, or you can say what is the time involved in converting a raw material to a finished good. If the production cycle is very small, you are immediately converting raw material into finished good, then the working capital required would be low. But if the production cycle is very high, then the working capital required would be very high. That means if you take more number of days to convert working capital into okay, sorry for the interruption. Suppose you're taking longer period for production and the production cycle is very big, then you will require more amount of working capital because your money gets stuck in inventory and semi-manufactured products. It's taking time for the finished goods to come out. So till the finished goods come out, you usually your money usually gets stuck into raw material and semi-finished goods. So if you want to produce more, you will have to invest more and you will require more working capital. So larger production cycles block your money and will require more working capital, whereas short production cycle or a smaller production cycle, I would say number of days, if you use few days, then the working capital required will be low. The next is seasonality of operation. If your product is seasonal based, like ceiling fans, ice creams, these are basically sold in summer season. Raincoats, umbrella are basically sold in winter season. So if you are dealing with such kind of a product, during the seasonal time, you require more working capital because the demand is too high and you go on manufacturing more and more units. But when there is no season or the season time is over, your production will come down significantly. You won't manufacture at a very high scale and you require less working capital. So peak season, more working capital, and off season, less working capital. Next is condition of supply. In case of condition of supply, if you get a regular supply, then you will have to basically not buy too much of inventory and stock it. You can directly buy whenever you need and produce it. But if the supply is irregular and you know that you're not going to get the goods, then you basically buy goods in bulk and store it. So when you buy and store it, you will require more working capital because you're investing more in the inventory. But when you can get it immediately, you may not store huge quantity of raw materials and therefore working capital required for inventory would be very low. The next concept is credit allowed. Credit allowed basically means if you give credit to the customers and they are allowed to pay later, there's no cash payment, but they're paying later. In that case, you have huge debtors. Debtors are again current assets. You're not receiving your money now, you will be receiving it later. So as of now, if you need money, you'll have to invest additional from your pockets or by borrowing. So when you give credit, you require more working capital because your money will be coming later and you go on investing more and more from your own pockets. Next is credit avail. Now, like credit allowed, you can even avail credit, that is get credit. So if your supplier, basically the person who supplies raw material gives you credit and says you buy the goods now and you can pay me later, then you may require lesser amount of working capital because you're just buying it now. The payment is not necessary now, so you need not invest now. So whenever you will receive your money from your debtors, you can pay it to your creditors. So your working capital requirement in all this process will be lesser. Types of production process. If your production process is labor intensive, then you will have to pay lots of wages and salaries. You will require little more working capital. But if it is a highly automatic plant, no laborers are required, then the working capital required would be less, whereas the fixed capital or long-term capital required would be more. Because in a highly technical organization, initially you spend more on fixed assets and then things go on operating. So labor intensive, more working capital, automatic plant, it is less working capital. So these are the factors. A few more. Inventory turnover ratio. If your inventory is turning over fast, that means your goods are getting sold faster. They are not there for more time in the storehouse, then the working capital required would be less. But if your goods are taking time to be sold, the working capital required would be more. I've given an example of a jeweler. The jeweler has to maintain different types of jewelries because each one would come with a different design. And the movement of that inventory is very slow. Till somebody comes and likes that jewelry, no, it's not sold. So in that case, he'll require more working capital. But if you go to a grocery store, he sells fast-moving consumer goods, and his goods are getting sold very faster. So his inventory turnover ratio is high. He sells, gets money, again invests that money, buys more goods. So working capital required would be less for a grocery store than a jewelry showroom. Next is level of competition. In case of if you have high level of competition, you require more working capital because you will sell goods on credit. You'll have lots of debtors. Your money will come later. So as of now, you'll have to spend from your pockets for the working capital needs. But if there is low competition, then you can usually manage with a low level of working capital. Last is inflation. Inflation is raising prices. When the prices rise, raw materials become costlier. So higher the inflation, higher would be the working capital required because your production process and everything will get costlier. So these were the factors that are affecting or influencing the working capital requirement. So before deciding how much I would require, you will have to go through all these factors and see whether you are a labor intensive company or a technical company, whether you have competition or no, inflation is there or no, how is your inventory turnover, then are you allowing credit, are you availing credit, what is your production process, seasonality, condition of supply. So you go through all these points and then decide how much working capital you will need. Now this table basically represents the need or the proportion of current assets and fixed assets for different industries. So if you see hotels, restaurants, electricity generation, distribution, aluminium, shipping, iron, steel. If you see the first two are service industries. So here fixed assets are more and current assets are low. They're hardly 10-20% of current assets. And then starts the manufacturing industry, aluminium, iron and steel, chemical, tea plantation. Here if you see fixed assets are reducing because your working capital is increasing. Here daily money that you flow is more important than what you're done with the fixed assets. So you have a list of industries, how much fixed capital and how much current assets you will need. Now determination of level of current asset. Now everybody wants to have an optimum level of current asset or that level of current assets which is perfect. I want to invest only this much so the cost will be less. So when you have to determine that particular thing, you'll have to keep two things in mind. To find the optimum level of current asset, you have to see the carrying cost and the shortage cost. When I say carrying cost and the shortage cost, I basically mean carrying cost is the cost that is required to carry huge amount of working capital. Like for example, if I have lots of stock, I need a warehouse, I need a watchman, so I have to pay rent for warehouse, I have to pay watchman salary, I may insure my warehouse so that I don't face losses later, so I'm paying insurance premium. So to carry those raw material, I'm spending. That's called as carrying cost. Whereas shortage cost is the cost if you are having shortage of raw materials or anything. Now suppose you have shortage of power supply, you have shortage of raw materials, and what will happen? Your production will get disrupted. When your production is disrupted, you lose sales, you lose goodwill. So the shortage cost will impact on your goodwill, name and fame. Whereas carrying cost is when you have huge amount of current assets, you will have to carry them, store them, so you have to spend it. So how to have an optimum capital structure? To have an optimum capital structure, you should have a balance between both carrying cost and shortage cost. Or you can say both should be equal. When both are equal at that level, whatever capital you get is an optimum working capital. So let's understand this with the help of a graph. On the x-axis, I have the level of current assets, and on the y-axis, one second. Yeah, if you see here, on the x-axis, I have the level of current assets, and on the y-axis, I have the carrying cost or shortage cost. So if you see, I'll just first we'll understand the carrying cost. So if you see here, if I go on increasing the level of current assets, if I make it 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 lakhs, the carrying cost is also increasing. The cost here will go on increasing, and that's giving a upward trend. So more the current assets, more is the carrying cost. Now if you see the shortage cost, if the current assets are more, there is no shortage, so the shortage cost is less. But if I go on decreasing the current assets, then what happens to the shortage cost? Goes on increasing. So if you have more current assets, you'll have more carrying cost. If you have less current assets, you'll have more shortage cost. So which is better? It's better to have a combination of both or both being equal. So at which point they intersect. This is called as the optimum level of current assets. And at this level, if I draw a total cost curve, you can see the total cost curve. Initially, the cost decreases, then it comes to minimum, and then again it increases when I produce more. So it is minimum at the intersection where your carrying cost and shortage cost are equal, there the total cost is also low. So this level of current asset, suppose here I have 200 lakhs maybe. So this level of current asset is the optimum level of current asset. I hope it is clear. Now current asset financing policy. The investment in current asset may be broken into two parts, the permanent current assets and the temporary working capital. Now what the firm requires, even if the sales are very low, we call it as permanent capital, current assets. Even if you sell very low, this much of current asset is required only. Whereas temporary working capital is basically on the basis of season or fluctuation. Whenever you produce more, you need more working capital. Whenever you produce less, you need less working capital. So as of now, we'll wind up here today and we'll understand how it is financed and all those things in the next class. Thank you.